an improvement. So
Oh.
being intelligence, a lot to live up to. So
I was very interested last night when you said that that movie Spy, wasn't it called?
Spy Game, yes.
Brad Pitt Spy Game. That was based to some degree on your relationship with your mentor. Is that right? Is that really true, or is that just
No. Frank called me up one day and they said they made a movie about us. and I said, "Oh God, no! What are you talking about?" And he said, and so he gave me this movie and said, "That's us." And I go, "Oh no, this wasn't supposed to happen. Nobody was supposed to be." I mean, it's like I'm not supposed to. There's not supposed to be anybody know about us. And so he says, Brad Pitt and Robert Redford in there, and I said, "Well, do I get to pick who I am?" Yeah, he says, "No. I'm Robert Redford. You're Brad Pitt." I go, "Oh, okay." So
I guess there's worse fates in this world.
Not too shabby.
Yeah.
Either way you cut it, as far as
either way. Yeah, I just don't. I don't know if Brad Pitt's got blue eyes, but my eyes are like Robert Redford, so I kind of was taken back. But anyway, it was kind of fun. When I heard it, I thought he was kidding actually at first, because it was just a movie about spies.
Right.
But when I stuck it.
Uh-oh.
Okay,
we just lost him. Are you there?
Okay, I'm back.
There.
I'm back.
All right.
When I stuck the movie into the video, it was incredible. Frank was a mentor, a trainer. Oftentimes I considered Frank not my handler. I considered Frank my friend.
Right.
Well, he was a white hat.
I wanted to preface this introduction to this information because, people know you for one thing, and I know you try to keep all of this kind of undercover, and I'm not trying to blow you out of the water or anything like that, but at the same time, they have to understand that if you say something and then you back it up with what you're about to talk about, that you do have some basis for having, for being being in that field long enough to be able to discern what it is you're looking at and so on, right?
Right. Now here's what I'll start off by saying. First of all, there is a information war in the intelligence community going on. And there's all kinds of convoluted ways. I mean, cryptic, the field agents are not even but the tip of the iceberg. When you're in the field agents usually are recruited in the field. They don't come out of the office and usually go in the field. They really don't. They usually are already in the field, and they usually stay in the field, and they get trained in the field. Now I'll just put it that way. That's my experience from what I understand. The intelligence that's gathered, oftentimes, of course, coming from, so to speak, the political head, the political appointed people really have no clue what's going on. So, in fact, for example, when Bush had Rumsfeld at the Pentagon, Rumsfeld didn't know squat about what was going on in the Pentagon. It's the career men, the second tier down, that actually have. And same with anything that goes on in any of the intelligence agencies until you get somebody like Bush who goes into the intelligence community and becomes a bulldog and fires the second level down and gets rid of the career people that have a power base, and then they take over. That's how they do it.
Yeah.
In the meantime, in the intelligence agency, there's all kinds of fun stories about stuff and how they put stuff on the fronts of magazines in order to reveal that they know a spy, but they don't want to do it in, an outward way because then that starts a international event and blah blah blah. So they can get rid of spies by just taking a picture, putting it on the front of a newspaper or magazine, but that spy's not the main topic or the main picture. They're in the background. And so that's just a message to the other side. We know you're spies here. So that's how that goes, and I can show you those kind of pictures.
That's
and the same.
Great. I love that. That's hilarious.
Yeah, it gets to be this big game, and then the professionals in the field will actually sit down with the other side, and little does the world know that they're cutting deals with each other to help each other. It's more civil than you think. There's, people getting shot and killed, yes, but there actually is a lot of civility between agents of countries that cut deals with each other. That's mostly what they're doing. In the counterintelligence community, though, you're countering what that other agent that's spying is there for. So if somebody from a foreign country is spying on a country, you're there to counter it. Well, now, disinformation is when this comes in. You send somebody into a country, or you recruit somebody in a country, and you place them at a critical choke point to place misinformation. But they'll end up having a reputation for the area that they're in, and they might be deep, and they might be there for 20 years with one project, one job, for one event. But they're making money while they're there, but a lot of times they're even supported by the intelligence budget. Okay, so misinformation agents are out there. Yes. Misinformation agents are not always giving misinformation like we think. See, we think that misinformation are lies all the time, but they're not lies all the time. Misinformation is to misdirect people or to prep people, to prepare people, to consciously get their mental. This is a really heady category here, Carrie. And what you're doing is these people, if they're in certain capacities, like we're getting ready to talk about, they're there to manipulate the mental thought and the direction of an entire group. And some of the groups, like for the 1960s, would have been the black community. They'd stir up the black community, and eventually, in the late 60s, we had race riots. That was intelligence.
Like the Black Panthers and things.
Right. And so they stir it up. You have, for example, just recently, you have the G20 stuff. And you have police in there stirring it up and making it look like it's the rioters. They're rioters when they're the police. Now, that's misinformation. Now, there's other ways to do it. It's just to be a radio host with a lot of good information. I mean, that could even be me, but and I really don't give a rip whether people believe me or not anymore. I don't care. I've got a lot of T-shirts, and I enjoy my tea, and I like to garden, and I don't care. I get people like me because they get well, and that's it. I just don't really care.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, no, that's absolutely true. And even beyond the person that we're kind of addressing this towards at the moment, there are others like him that are out there that every once in a while, you just get a sense. Of course, being in Camelot, we have to have that, what do you call it, sixth sense that begins to zone in on some of these people, whether they're on the radio or not. And, in fact, some of my disagreements with Bill has been on this very topic time and time again, because I, as an intuitive, will get a direct hit in terms of this kind of stuff. And, and then I'm trying to convince him, because he's going down, a certain line of reasoning, and he just does not understand. Maybe it's a man thing. Women are just, maybe it's a man-woman thing. Maybe it's just because I'm intuitive and he's more of a scientific type. But it's really interesting to me that, it's happened time and time again. And, of course, we're in that world, obviously. We're having to deal with this kind of stuff because we're being, people are coming towards us. We're being, we're directing, the audience. We are some of those people that are directing the audience at this time and where their eyes should be looking, and so on and so forth. And so if we back up somebody or have them on my show or this or that, in a way, it's us giving what people think is it's us giving a thumbs up, right? When that's not always the case, and they may misunderstand that. Just because I interview somebody does not mean that I'm in their team or anything else necessarily. Now, it might mean